every other region, we are just not really seeing it in that mid lane. So I would expect it to go into Light's hands before anybody else.
Yeah, now what do LNG do with this Jace pick, right? Do they want it? And of course the Azir. Do they want the Azir more? Do they want to take that out of Xiaohu's hands, or do they want the Jace so they prevent the poke combination of Kaisa plus Jace? Seems like they're more interested in taking away the Azir. So let's see now where Weibo go with Maokai banned. No longer will weiwei have the opportunity to kind of split the damage a little bit. I anticipate that Jace will still come through from Xiaohu, unless he's eyeing up, you know, something a little more supplementary. I was actually going to say like the Annie if he wanted to fall back to more utility-based picks, but this Tristana has been left open throughout the entire series so far. Hasn't really been focused in, and this time around it will be locked in. So Xiaohu still on the carry, and if we end up with the Alistar, it's 2 AD carries, Alistar, and then top jungle left, and being waited on to be picked up for TheShy and weiwei for Weibo.
Wait to see where they want to try and bring this draft right now. Again, kind of having that Tristana, the double AD carry, kind of pseudo AD carry, if you will, as you do tend to see the Kaisa go for that AP build. We'll see what Oh yeah, I think Poppy could be just so good at just, again, stopping a lot of what you want to try and build into here with the Alistar, and obviously the rocket jumps coming in here from the Tristana.
Yeah, exactly. So many dashes and relatively telegraphed dashes as well. All right, I think that's the more important thing to highlight, that Poppy can stop. So a lot of high value likely to come through from that steadfast presence, and we'll keep on tracking that once we do get into game. LNG though, jungle or top lane picks, what are they more likely to focus out? Seems like it will be top side picks. So Rumble, first one to go. Do they want to remove away the Ksante? Do they really care, considering TheShy's performances so far on the pick have not really left a lot to be desired? And to be fair, if he ends up on the Ksante blind, then Zika will likely go towards counter pick. So I think the situation is more likely a Renekton ban here, something that, you know, is a little bit more well-rounded in terms of what it can actually provide, whether it's weak side or strong sided, and then that way you are really trying to push TheShy onto something as, you know, sort of abusable as possible. I feel like here, as the LNG side is Weibo, remove away the Varus and expect probably one more hyper carry AD that Gala loves to rely on. Trying to kind of rack my brain on what it would most likely be, because it has predominantly been hyper carries. I think his next like most played, considering what's left up on the table, is like the Jinx. So we'll see whether or not Weibo just default to that and put him on as off comfort as possible.
We'll wait to see where the last kind of ban comes in here. LNG, of course, will get kind of first rotation on this. You would imagine they'll go for an AD carry. The Jack's going to be banned away as the final thing here, as Weibo kind of recognize they don't need Zika on many different things that can carry off in the game. Jack's becoming that kind of staple ban. LNG might decide to go with themselves, as you said, kind of give Zika that counter pick into that top side. We'll get in Gala something they can maybe carry on from his own front. Wouldn't mind the Aphelios, of course. It is kind of down the AD carry priorities, but no, they looking like they want to go towards maybe getting the Renekton locked in and get that front line sorted out for themselves.
Okay, so interesting. That's what the Rumble ban was for. Renekton really cannot play that lane out at all, so wanting to go towards a more aggressive top side, and, you know, I don't think it really needs to be spelled out how much bullying can be done to a top laner when the jungler is Poppy and the top laner is Renekton. So if TheShy is going to go towards this Ksante, which he is hovering, it'll be 3 games in a row. Could be very difficult to play out. Even if he uses the Pathmaker to deal with all the CC, the damage will still be there, as weiwei is going to give us a Lilia game of all things. So this is going to be very fun to watch. I will get into the nitty-gritties of the matchup, but what you can immediately expect is very fast pathing early on, right? A lot of tempo should be afforded to weiwei. As are we finally going to get a call on this Ornn? Because I feel like it just makes the most sense, right? Again, Ksante, great champion, but at the end of the day, I feel like if you want to put Shy on weak side duty, give him something where he's going to be able to provide for the team more consistently. They still land on the Ksante in the end, and LNG seems like they were thinking about the Aphelios on 4 anyway, and they'll lock that in last pick.
And look, you know, going to see the last Aphelios getting in, so kind of giving themselves a very similar composition to what we've actually seen Weibo build for themselves, with their scaling with this Azir, and kind of come with actually to quickly look at which team was on which side there for a second to make sure I wasn't just going to talk about Xiaohu's Azir. But I mean, the Lilia has been something that we've been seeing kind of like whispers of, specifically from Kanavi off JDG, that it's kind of becoming this maybe kind of, you know, very fringe, but at the same time very powerful jungler that you can bring out when things like the Maokai and the Ivern are already taken off the board, and you're your AP options are limited. So see what weiwei can do with it. It has an incredibly fast clear, and if you're able to get up to that first, second item, the Demonic Embrace, and maybe even into, we've talked about it before, potentially Drain Tank with that Jack show, we'll see what direction weiwei wants to take with this, but plenty of options here for Weibo to try and bounce back and get themselves a blue side win.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about Lilia is the base damages are like right in that sweet spot where you can go those Drain Tank builds, it makes sense, but full AP also hits like a truck, so plenty of options available to this Lilia, and of course, I imagine that weiwei is likely going to have a relatively positive early game in this setup, and I'm kind of looking at him to probably rush towards level 6 and then start to look for very forced plays. That's typically where Lilia does shine. I will say into the Poppy specifically is actually very, very difficult to, skirmish into it pre-6, because you can always have your watch out Eep, the big sort of like dash circle thing, blocked out by the steadfast presence. So very hard to keep that one down. And given where that lane matchup was on the top side for TheShy, you wonder whether or not he's going to go up there and give it a little bit of coverage, or whether or not you leave it on an island and go and try and push other lanes further ahead.
Teams are locked and loaded. It's a best of 3. As both these teams now come into the series 1-1. Want to try and get yourself that one step closer towards locking in double elimination, a top 4 finish. Not only would it then give you an opportunity at maybe even getting enough points to auto-qualify yourselves, maybe even win the championship, but also getting extra points to put you as many opportunities in that regional qualifier should you fall at the next hurdle. It's all to play for in this game number 3. Both these teams have left very little to the imagination of how badly they want to win. It's going to come down to how they both kind of participate in these team fights, how they set themselves up, and how they execute at those big, crucial moments.
Exactly that. I feel like first Herald, going to be very important. Lilia, very powerful. That first cast of the ultimate. Priority, I imagine, will want to be earned there by Weibo as we move into game 3. Okay.
I definitely feel like that guy from Weibo is a little closer to the mic.
I believe, solved our quandary of game number 2, and I think the Weibo mascot, we'll dub him, shouting for the Gyos, is just closer to the mic than the LNG guy is.
Straight up, just closer. Well, look, you gotta take every opportunity you have, gotta take every advantage you can get. That's definitely to be said in this particular series. It does feel like both these teams very equally weighted into each other. It doesn't feel like there's much to say the difference between these two guys.
I was wondering whether or not they were going to go for a late invade. Weiwei. But just a ward on that Raptor camp to see that Tarzan will be starting out there. And we'll see how quickly Weiwei can get through these, the first rotation of his jungle camps. Lilia back in the day, before the jungle was changed to be a little bit more strict on the multi-camping and things like that, could really blitz through the early jungle clear. If you were super efficient, you would, I wouldn't say necessarily get to things like Karthus or Nidalee levels, but you'd be in the realm, as there's also Crisp's 600th game today. See if he can crown it with a win. And hope that he will be able to, as right now he's just playing stare off. Mexican standoff with Hung in these bushes, just trying to maintain control of the lane for Weibo. They should hit level 2 first. Don't know if they're really going to be able to put any pressure down off the back of that, though.
Here's the thing for LNG. We say it a million times, but you're always going to concede pressure in this first wave or 2 for the Aphelios. It's just how it is. But like that Tarzan's looking to be a bit more aggressive. I will say, though, he's been kind of caught out if he's looking for an invade, because the Lilia actually started on the top side to try and match this Poppy kind of aggression once she hits level 3.
Thing is, though, Poppy's ganks are so...
Xiaohu! That's not the ideal situation. He does get a fair chunk of damage on the scout, but that was just Xiaohu not respecting that Tarzan could be there. And the thing is, he had information that Tarzan started topside.
Yeah, that is questionable from Xiaohu, to say the least. Gets punished by Tarzan, looking for the early angle. His work is kind of just cut out for him, and he's able to find first blood. Great stuff. Xiaohu used the flash as well to try and escape, so he is now an even more vulnerable target. Weiwei's trying to steal away some jungle camps here, and to his credit, he's going to be able to secure the walls without smite, and with this priority here from Weibo, and still from the mid lane, Tarzan will be punished here by losing his entire blue side quadrant. So weiwei's going to feel good about this. Weiwei should be slingshotted towards a very fast level 6, or at the very least have a pretty big influx of gold in comparison to Tarzan. Whereas Tarzan now has to basically just live with the fact that he's probably going to get top scuttle at absolute most. Maybe even weiwei, if he wants to skip it, can move up there. As you get a look at this trade, I mean, you know, again, a little bit awkward from Xiaohu in terms of timing. The trade would have been very favorable, right? Between Xiaohu and Scout 1-to-1, but just too far forward as hammer bonk like whack-a-mole right on the head, but in the air. Isn't able to escape. Tarzan does secure that skull for himself, but again, going to be down on camps. Will at the very least be able to cycle through his second spawn, so catch-up XP will do its thing. But weiwei, so much freedom down here. Look at the chunk out on Gala. Looks like they want to dive, or at the very least deny away this wave.
They should be able to do so. Again, like you mentioned, Tarzan kind of ran up towards that that scuttle on the top side just to see if he can get that. It's going to be a level 4 for weiwei. Not the most powerful, as he hasn't gone back yet, so he hasn't got a huge amount of AP. Crisp burning down and taken out. They're going to try and jump on the Gala, and they'll take him out as well. Weiwei now kind of caught between a turret and a Tarzan, but he's taking a lot of damage. Oh, Light not quite able to get the last tick of damage. He wanted to make it work, but while this is all happening, I stopped myself for a second. Minion waves there, but the big thing here is, yes, they trade back in a 2-for-1 in favor of LNG, but this wave is just, it's 20 CS leading the bot side.
It's double the CS for Light, right? And still gonna feel bad. The kills went over to Tarzan as well, one of them at the very least. Another kill did go into Gala, so it will make up for some of that lead, but the XP difference is going to be huge. And actually, crucially, so this is what happens initially. Cleanse blown, flash as well. So this is why Gala is summoner spellless once we walk into this play. Tarzan is also pulled off of the Raptors to come and cover this. Wave crashes, dive commences. As what actually ends up happening? Crisp W's the minion trying to go gap close onto Gala, not able to find it. And then it's a bit chaotic to say the least. Crisp very easily picked off. Gala gets bonked on the head by weiwei. And then Tarzan almost actually dies. How much damage he actually puts out. And then Light, one more auto, but the stun comes out from Hung, stops him from moving forward. So very awkward kind of execution on both sides, really. But it works out for LNG in the end. They're the ones with more kills. Maybe even an angle to start up this dragon. Tarzan's on his way. Surely Weibo can look to contest this. I'm kind of trying to get an eye on the mid lane priority right now, but it seems like that's actually in favor of LNG, and that's what's propping and enabling this to actually be started off here.
Let's try and just confirm this dragon first. This has been the kind of linchpin between these two teams, getting that early soul. Hex flash over, and they're going to be able to burn down this Alistar pretty damn quickly. Not a lot else you can do about that one there. The steadfast presence does do a little bit to mitigate weiwei's kind of a movement forward, but Gala just burning them down with the red and white. He knows he wants to fight, and LNG are kind of living in the scrappiness right now. They're enjoying the fact that they're able to kind of get all this gold and just kind of stop what Weibo are trying to do.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about earlier when we came to the draft, talking about the jungle matchup. Xiaohu, is he in trouble? Can Scout get behind? He can.
Oh, you can get him into the wall! Oh, it's beautiful from Scout and Tarzan. Really well done. And Xiaohu, I mean, it looks like he's running out of steam because this start of this game has not been ideal.
One alley-oop right there. Set up perfectly. Xiaohu still no flash from the earlier exchange. Easy as you like setup, and that skirmish beforehand as well. Just so LNG favored because they're able to stop so many key abilities, but also just burst out Crisp, who was, again, angling kind of strangely, right? At the very start of the skirmish. The dragon, however, wasn't actually secured by either team, so it's still up, which means we could have another fight for it relatively soon. For now, though, we will hold our breath as kills flown left, right, and center. A lot into Tarzan, a lot, however, into Gala and Scout. Gala doing his best to try and close that CS difference back up. But again, you know, Crisp angling for Gala. Great use of the Graviton to lock him down. The chain TC is good, right into the wall. Weiwei tries to find the damage on time, but then the slow from the steadfast presence, you know, interrupt as well. Also just keeps Weiwei in place long enough for Gala to melt through him, and obviously the follow-up was excellent onto Xiaohu. Dragon still not being taken as now the Herald spawn, so that's both the early objectives up and available. Weiwei already has level 6. Tarzan took down the red buff, still not level 6. Maybe with catch-up XP, the Raptors give it to him. Either way, if he doesn't have it, he's going to be working at a deficit. Does it give him level 6? It does. So now he's got that armor. He can knock away somebody out of this team fight. if LNG are looking to approach it. I mean, with Gala and Hung here, they want to, at the very least, take the fight, if not contest for the Herald overall. They find another pick.
They find Xiaohu immediately having to flash away away from the fight. The Dragon does get secured here by Weibo, I believe, and that's going to be not going for the lilting lullaby just yet. The fight is still very much looking like it's LNG favored. They're going to see an all-out jump in and take Zika out of that fight. 5v4 though, how confident are you feeling in Gala to be this carry? They're just defending the eye. You shall not get the benefit of this buff. And that's exactly what's going to happen there. What the hell was that? I don't even know what the hell went down. Xiaohu goes down for a third time as TheShy tried to save his mid laner. That was a curious interaction. I think he knocked him back as he got knocked forward. Strange.
It was bust the shot. And as Tarzan dashed in, bust the shot from Xiaohu. I think that's what happened. Looked really weird in the moment though, because obviously you have Alistar there. You're thinking, wait, he just headbutted him, interrupted it? No, it was bust the shot. So, end of the exchange. Weibo did technically kill the Herald, but they weren't allowed to pick it up. LNG play, Bloons tower defense, but with champions. Secure it, and as we get into the replay, it's a nice attempt here onto Tarzan, right? Has vision on Xiaohu, but unfortunately has the flash, so he's able to flash out of it. It puts him in an awkward enough position that now not only has he committed, but Scout has committed to this bottom side, which gives weiwei and Weibo enough time to secure this Herald. Now the issue is no one can pick up the eye, and as LNG try and regroup, you can see Zika, I think he gets knocked back. No, he flashes forward for light. Okay, I thought he got knocked back awkwardly and then pulled across the wall. TheShy is then an all-out, so good job to just secure that from TheShy's perspective. And then at this point, it's just about holding ground. Another stun comes through onto Crisp, and he's just playing frontline. And I think it's bust the shot. Yeah, bust the shot on the knock forward, and then Crisp obviously flashing forward, all in the same frame. Just makes it look a little awkward as LNG push back on Weibo's attempt to secure that Herald. And there will be no gold secured, right, from the plates or anything like that. It's just more kills into the LNG back pockets as they lead this game right now, 1.5k.
1.5k, 3-0-4 onto Tarzan. Really just kind of being the beneficiary of all of this extra gold. It is onto a Poppy, so not the greatest thing in the world, but I mean, just having that extra bit of sustain is going to be huge. Weiwei rushed a Rod of Ages, so we're not going to be seeing any of the typical builds. It's not uncalled for as such. It does have its advantages.
Yeah, this is very interesting. I don't know how I feel about it, but what I will say is, in terms of just being a flat stat stick, obviously very, very powerful, Rod of Ages, right? But that passive, hitting 10 stacks and leveling up in a situation like this, hold on, TheShy, let's turn around the 1v1. I think he's got this.
Oh, it's one more auto attack for either of the top laners. TheShy thought weiwei was going to be there a little bit quicker. And that means that Zika gets himself a solo bolo, and that's the Renekton power that you just cannot underestimate.
Yeah, unfortunate for TheShy. Not able to find the time to flash out on, a dash or a Call the Meek there. Just kind of face tanks it all, doesn't have the stats to stand up to Zika. He does fall in the 1v1. Dragon secured by LNG, but for now, Weibo might not mind, but they'll mind if Crisp is picked up here. Certainly will be. Stun doesn't connect, but not enough health. Gala picks up the kill. Good stuff there from LNG to find the pick on the back of the Dragon. I don't want to speculate too much longer on the weiwei build, but a lot of extra HP. I wonder if this signals, a more tanky build, right? Demonic Embrace after this into, tank items, potentially, or Rylai's, right? Just more HP. That's the goal. We'll end up seeing how effective it is as a Scout. Swing and a miss, but you can respect it.
And Tarzan was coming around, so definitely a jump to save your life there. Xiaohu, unfortunately, game 1 and 2 on the Azir looks fantastic. This Tristana is not having the same level of impact. I will say, not to be all too doom and gloom. Yes, it's 9-3 in kills in favor of LNG, but it is only a 2,000 gold lead. It's not that far ahead, and you start to get later and later into this game, as you can see, TheShy kind of having a much better time of it in this top lane. Just the fact that he did rush into that Iceborne Gauntlet, knowing that he just has that extra little bit of damage to kind of throw in here on top of the Renekton.
Seems like they're eyeing a play up here. Jungle camp will be stolen away, at the very least. Weiwei doing an excellent job of CSing, as you would expect a Lilia would do. And yeah, I guess another kind of benefit to the rower is once that passive stacks up, if weiwei can continue to maintain a relatively healthy level lead, obviously the higher level you are by the time that 10 tick pops over, the more, technically efficient it somewhat is, right? So, we'll see where he is once that temp stack comes through. Gala will secure a solo plate for himself. Surprised? Just because it's Crisp and how he's been playing this game, he didn't just immediately go for a little bit of a combo here. Weiwei wants his red buff. Doesn't want this one stolen away, but no smite. Tarzan has his really awkward invade here. If he can get the red buff to reset, it's great, but won't be able to, and Tarzan will steal away that jungle camp.
And answering in kind for the camp that was stolen from him, as both these junglers try to get towards that 1200 damage smite. Tarzan actually a fair bit away from it. Weiwei's done, as you mentioned, an exceptional job of just CSing his camps when it comes up. Though Tarzan has got the kills, he is about 2 camps, or even 3, to be honest with you, before he'll have that that upgraded smite to 1200. So it's something to keep an eye on as we move into those kind of mid to late game team fights, or even just the mid game team fights around these bigger objectives like the Rift Herald. Yeah,
it's actually heftier because each camp gives you a stack, but the treats, I can't recall the very intricacies of how the treats sometimes passively spawn, but obviously you need plays onto like hitting objectives and obviously champion takedowns and such. So he is likely not going to have the upgraded smite by the time that this Herald spawns up, whilst maybe Weiwei won't either, but he's certainly very close to it, like we were just mentioning. So it's not going to be a big deal for this Herald, but maybe for the next dragon. Keep our eyes on that. Maybe Weiwei has that smite damage advantage. For now though, LNG the objective first. I wouldn't say an awkward time to base from Weiwei, just had gold to spend. He's not in the river, and with Scout also securing topside priority, this just looks like LNG is through and through. He should be able to pick that one up with very little issue.
It's going to be difficult. There's a TP coming in from TheShy. Maybe they want to take a fight on the back end of this. It's a TP as well, answered by Zika. Do they look for the lilting lullaby? They do. It lands it down on the Scout, but he gets away with some Shurima shuffle. Now you can see them moving on top of Crisp, who has to pop the ultimate. It's all a bit scrappy. No one really knows if they want to go for this fight just yet. Here we go. Flash in with the Magnet Storm, the Moonlight Vigil. Only onto Weiwei, and Hung is dead. The Keeper's verdict does decide that only one shall be taken away. It's Xiaohu as TheShy and Zika take themselves a little bit of a 1v1. TheShy would love to be able to get a solo kill, but he won't be able to get it. And Scout with the Shurima shuffle. The Emperor's Divide is just too damn good. And they thought they had Zika. They thought they had the advantage. But LNG and Scout just steps up and tells them to step out.
Oh, it looks so good for a breath from TheShy, but all it does is basically set up a sitter for Scout to find the scoop, and LNG get even more kills. The tower as well on the back of the Herald play. Now the game sits 4,000 gold away from Weibo for now. Lilting Lullaby, really well timed, but the issue is a good dash away means that Scout isn't able to be followed up on. Dash into the wall there from Tarzan is good. Keeps Crisp kind of at bay from finding his backline. Then this re-engage from Hung is so powerful, right? Finds multiple members in the front line. The damage that comes out is definitely very, very powerful as TheShy goes back, finds the Q3.
Left it.
Flash Q, I mean, yeah, there's not much to say. Could have just left it. The healing's there from the Gore Drinker as well. And this shuffle onto Shy and on to Light, and then the Steadfast Presence to stop the re-engage as well. It's excellent stuff from LNG, and again, this Poppy pick, so high value just from those first 3 champions you saw. And that value is being shown right here in some of these early skirmishes. As we approach the mid-game, the second Dragon of the game is up for LNG. You expect they'll be able to pick it up practically free of charge. Weibo trying to put some pressure onto Scout, but just not able to achieve it. Seeing if they can cross-map on this tower, just won't happen. Herald's here in the mid lane. And the rotation was actually coming out from a majority of Weibo members, and I think they actually had information on that because of that control ward and the pixel brush on that top side. So this is a tier 2 tower going down for free, and then they can rotate over to the Dragon and pick that up. Doesn't even seem like, now that they see with Light and Crisp rotating towards the mid lane, that Scout is under any pressure. So everything just going LNG's way for now, and they continue to extend out this gold lead.
And look, you know, it's not the word. And look, obviously I am one of the biggest critics of TheShy, and I understand what he's trying to do in that play. If they kill off the Renekton, if they can get the kill there, it's a little bit of an extra advantage. There's a lot of if, buts, and maybes within that conversation to be had. But I feel like when you know you're already behind and you get away with that kind of a fight, you just need to accept that that was a win and that was the end of it. You don't need to be going for anything kind of crazy off it. I mean, look at the CS Light has. Light's 40 CS ahead of an Aphelios, which means he's actually an item parity. He's actually an item ahead, despite that Gala having 4, 1, and 5 on the kill score. Like, this is the kind of advantages that you need to be able to kind of, you know, recognize for yourself as you look to try and, you know, make sure you don't fall any deeper down the hole.
Yeah. Now, to play devil's advocate for a moment,
you do
as
love
TheShy,
that game. He's looking for it. They may be able to get him, and they will. Finally, TheShy gets it. There's a buster shot from Xiaohu as well. So there's no mid laner here. This could be big. Can they follow anybody else down? They need a lilting lullaby. There's going to be the ultimate use just to disengage. But little moments like that are what Weibo are going to need. TheShy did get the kill on bot side, but now Xiaohu may be going down on the top side himself. Does not have flash. Did use the rocket jump now already. Will have an extra bit of movement speed, so should be able to kind of walk away from this one as I say that. Does Scout know where he went? That's the question. I don't think Scout does, but
oh,
yeah.
well, now he knows where he is.
Oh, he's dead. Flash in, into the wall.
I don't want to be a negative Nancy.
I thought you wanted to play devil's advocate.
As I was just about to play devil's advocate. But as we will likely have highlighted by our observers, Xiaohu probably just saved Scout's life and then donated him a kill. Yeah. Sunday was 2 days ago, mate. Donations are a little bit late. As you know, Zika's dying, then teleport's coming. He's dead. If he he is so dead. If he channels that teleport. But it's one of those moments where you're on the side lane, you see the enemy laner like teleporting in front of you. You don't know whether or not it's a good teleport, all right? And you would rather, as you're not channeling your own, stop that teleport from going through. And unfortunately, you know, makes that decision and then ends up paying for it with his life.
Yeah, it's a rough one. As LNG just kind of continue to gain control. Good thing though for Weibo is that it is a Chemtech soul, not the most impactful in the game. Considering that one, and if you do take it, it does open. If you get to that point in the game, you can open up a potential early Elder flip if you wanted to go for something like that. So we'll see what the options are for Weibo as TheShy tries to build up towards his Thorn Mail, which will help him in that matchup up against Zika. That's why they've actually put down the Azir here to kind of have that extra bit of range and to make sure that TheShy will not be getting any more of those kind of potential solo bolos. 4, 0, and 7. And whoa, weiwei. And the rest of Weibo have called the bluff. They said the Scout doesn't have TP, and they just saw the jungler as well.
Okay, let's see how this one plays out. 4K on the Baron. Tarzan's on his way in.
They use the steadfast presence. There's the Magnet Storm down. They've actually stopped the Keeper's Verdict. The Buster Shop is good. Ksante goes down, but you'll take this. Even if you only lose 2, it's still worth it for Weibo. They're going to try and make this one work. Whoa. Oh, it's a hop, skip, and a jump to get everyone to safety, but can they still keep themselves alive? Great wave clear here from Light to make sure that they cannot just push this one in. They should be able to just walk away from it. Tarzan with the Hex Flash over. The cleanse is good, and it means that you're not going to be getting Light today. Weibo not quite done with this game, and they will keep themselves alive. Great move there to capitalize on a TP-less mid laner.
Yeah, hop, skip, and the jump back to base. Excellent call from Weibo. Honestly, just caught LNG a little bit unawares, and that Baron is going to buy them so much time. All right, crucially, even if they lose this top tier 1, it's not really the most impactful tower at this point in the game. Just a little bit of extra standing gold that LNG would likely have picked up at some point anyway. Baron, a lot of extra gold. Just generally a couple more stats as well, just to help crest them over the gold difference that they were at the deficit of. Dragon's up in 1 minute's time. I imagine you just give it up, look to spend the gold, or just reclaim as much gold as you can, and move from there. LNG, like you said, had their buff called, right? They were not really anticipating that Baron would be started up by Weibo, and the defense of it was really, really powerful. Good job, Weibo. Let's see what they can do with it now. As weiwei will steal away that blue buff, and is so fast that Hung will not catch up to him.
This Lilia is starting to get pretty big. Got the Demonic Embrace, building up to what I imagine is going to be a Zhonya's Hourglass next to be that bit more aggressive. And despite Xiaohu being 0 and 4 and 40 CS down, he's got the Navori Quick Blades. He's been able to kind of keep up instead of the gold, so you know, it's not the biggest of problems for them right now. 20 seconds till the Dragon spawns. LNG now finding themselves going up against the Baron buff. Trying to clear out this wave. Hung taking a bit of damage as they fight for control. Flash in, Magnet Storm down, but they do not get the stun onto weiwei. Now they can look in. Scout's going to be the target for the lilting lullaby, and they will have to force him into his Zonya's. Light into the backside, taking down the Rell, the Renekton, and Scout with a good shuffle, but it's only to seal his fate. That is 3 for nothing. Weibo building back that momentum, building themselves back into this game.
Yeah, they just catch all of LNG right across that wall, and there's no way for them to escape. Scout as well having to go into the stasis to avoid being bursted whilst he was asleep. Also might have just won Weibo that fight outright. Great timing, and Gala was also in a position where he couldn't put out the damage. Tarzan at threat, now maybe Gala can put out the damage. He'll be able to find the chase down, or Tarzan will.
Yep, Tarzan gonna jump in. Oh, the
Oh,
Shy!
whoa,
Don't know
whoa.
about that one! Don't know about that one! Flashes in, but has to walk away with his tail between his legs as he was not going to be able to do much against Gala there. Ends up being a trade back of a kill. But again, good movement here from Weibo to try and bring back this gold lead. Still in favor of LNG, but Weibo still have fight in them.
Shy is doing everything he can, isn't he? Let's take a look at this replay. Good engage onto Weiwei, but so much HP and no... Ooh, stun from Tarzan is the difference maker. Flash Q forward onto Scout. Forces the stasis, and that double knockback from TheShy really does enable the rest of Weibo to have the space to just dash forward and do what they want. Whilst once Scout does come out of the stasis, the shuffle is good, but Gala's ultimate only connects onto the first member and not everyone, so the splash is quite limited. Maybe if Gala's ultimate finds a way to slip onto that big stack of members that just got pushed forward, could have been a slightly different fight, but unfortunately it's not the case for LNG, and Weibo find themselves back in a game which is very, very much playable from this point out. LNG definitely fumbling the bag a little bit as this game sort of stabilizes back to a more neutral state.
I don't understand how it's happening, but Light is getting further and further ahead in CS. Like, I really don't understand where he's finding these extra CS, because, like, Gala's 6-1-6. Gala should be untouchable, unassailable, and late game Aphelios that has been able to kind of mitigate the early game or nerfs that he received so recently in 13-13, but it doesn't matter because this Kaisa pick has just been able to keep up in step. Been fantastic to see Light kind of really step up in the series in game 1 and 2, despite the loss in game number 2. He really was a, you know, for lack of a better term, a shining light, a beacon of hope, if you will, for Weibo.
Yeah, he really was. He will continue to be that source of brightness for this Weibo lineup in this game number 3. LNG need to find a way to find those same favorable fights that they were earlier on, right? Maybe if they can kind of lock down one side of the map again, through mid lane priority perhaps, and then, you know, really kind of hamstring Weibo's ability to find very solid engages. Remember, the disengage and re-engage tools of LNG, I think, are what are the most powerful. But if you can kind of translate that instead into a more pick-focused orientation where you have Weibo, you know, really kind of trying to force through vision onto you, then that also works out in your favor as well. It's just about getting that set up, but right now Weibo feels like have control of the map, and Stack Chip Kaisa going to be able to just kind of crush through these waves and then force LNG into a position where they have to back away. One more, yeah, I was going to say, one more W connection with Scout having that passive up. I wouldn't have been surprised if Weiwei pressed the Zaki and then we just saw Light dive in. Whilst he was asleep. What happened though? And something we have to kind of keep our eyes out for, honestly, Oisin. If Weiwei hits a swell seed and put somebody to sleep, Light can actually assassinate them from range because of the CC and how Killer Instinct works. Could be a way in for Weibo to also continue to break this game open.
Dream-laden bow, they're passive. Does it mark them for sleep? What we might be seeing here with a stopwatch available for Weiwei, he could flash in, get the Q off, the blooming blows, and then pop out the lilting lullaby. That is the big thing that you want to be looking for, but poke is starting to become a bit obnoxious, and with Light having that blue buff, it's just going to keep coming.
Oh, crisp. Flash combo. He wants the angle. He has enough information, I think.
No, not going to pull the trigger on it just yet, though. They weren't in full position to kind of make that one work. Hong have to crash down now over the wall to make sure he doesn't get caught out. Dragon spawning in a minute. It's only the third for LNG, but it's the second for Weibo, and that tenacity starts to stack up. That's when this Rell starts to lose a lot of her kind of usefulness in this late game team fights. You get extra tenacity by stacking up so many of those Chem Souls or Chem Dragons. Let's see what either of these teams wants to do. So far, it does look like Weibo are kind of happy to let this wave ping-ponging just continue, while they look to try and maybe contest around this dragon in 30 seconds' time.
Heal and shield power as well on those individual dragons. Very powerful. Xiaohu will be able to disengage here, as Tarzan is a very, very speedy Poppy. Yeah, alright, so LNG, 15 seconds up. Do they want to commit to contesting this? Given how the last fight went out, if you kind of zoom in at the items, they do have the advantage in the mid lane specifically. Everywhere else is practically at parity. I'm really enjoying this build from Tarzan, basically full support here. Picks up the Mikhails. As Weibo, again, with a Baron start up, and look where Tarzan is. He's in no man's land.
Look
There's
at
not
Hung
enough information. It's gone. It's dead. It's dead.
It's dead. You didn't expect this to happen, and now they're going to try and jump onto TheShy, who for some reason was off to the side in Narnia and will be traded back for it. But that's still a Baron for one. 100% worth here for Weibo. I mean, it's again a really good call here for them to kind of catch out LNG on their slow rotations.
Yeah. All right. LNG. That's 2 times in one game. They need to get on top of that. Can't let that continue to happen. You're the ones that want the Baron so you can go and siege with your Azir. And with all of your powerful disengage tools, you can't do that if Weibo are the ones with the Baron. So Soul Point picked up. Excellent. 5 minutes away from the least snowbally Soul in the game as Hung is eating a lot of poke. Zika.
Xiaohu may have gotten 0 and 4, but Xiaohu is still very big. Shotgun in the backside, blown up with the isolation damage coming out from Light. And now you're without really a front line to try and threaten these AD carries. You don't have someone to kind of jump onto the backside with the Poppy or the Rell to damage them.
Yeah, exactly. Like the strength of LNG's composition is when they're grouped up, when they're able to stop multiple members from getting out of their grasp. Maybe this will be a demonstration, but the collapse is so flimsy. Tarzan!
Yeah, oh, he's got himself a Mikhail's Blessing. Scout doesn't hit anybody. They both flash away and they both get themselves out alive, but now they can jump in. Scout will be traded back for the Kaisa. Xiaohu trying to see if he can do some more damage. TheShy has respawned and looking to take out Tarzan, who refuses to go down. It's now weiwei versus everyone as Gala puts in the work. Finally, he gets taken out and picks up a double kill. Weibo break open this game and may have broken the back of LNG.
They might have done just that. Tarzan had a lot of early focus in this game and found some incredible leads, but weiwei was farming up the entire time and finally gets to flex his muscles in another late game skirmish here. Excellent stuff from Weibo to just dissuade the, potential pincer that was coming through from LNG. Great flashes to completely disengage and tear apart what was, at best, a very, very weak pincer from LNG. They saw the teleport as well because it was on that control wall. Tarzan has to self-Mikhails himself to stop the sleep from coming through. Great flashes from Xiaohu and Light. Right over. Oh my god. On the frame from Light. Then Scout caught out in the middle. This re-engage from Hung is great. Does secure Light. Scout doesn't actually use the Zhonya's, so he just goes down. Can't buy any more time. TheShy then right on top of everybody. Great turn from Gala and Tarzan in all fairness to take out Xiaohu, but then weiwei is still untouched, and TheShy as well finally presses his R-key, as he didn't really have to use it until the very back end of the fight to secure the extra kill. So Weibo really are just executing on these fights. A step ahead of LNG. It's been like this for the last 10-15 minutes. LNG have not been able to find a successful fight.
weiwei is now becoming a problem. Weiwei will have his death cap once he goes back for it, once he picks up 1,300 gold to be able to finish that one off. I think he's sitting on 600, so he is not far away from that item whatsoever. And this is where the game gets complicated. You do not have magic resistance to deal with weiwei in this game. You just don't. Like, Marma Mortius ain't gonna do nothing against this guy. So really, you're kind of comboing that up with someone like the Kaisa damage. I feel like you're just at such a disadvantage here for the tanks of LNG to try and survive when weiwei gets in on the backside.
Yep, exactly. Once that death cap comes in, he's gonna go from, you can see it in the bottom left, he's got 400 AP. He's going to jump up about 120 extra, maybe a little bit more actually. I think our maths is slightly off. I think he'll be about 535, so he is going to be a complete monster. Frontline damage is going to be massive. I think they're trying to actually funnel some of this gold into him right now. As you can see, very close to that death cap. Wants it before that Chemtech Salt. Doesn't have any jungle camps up. That's the annoyance right now of this neutral map state. And that's all Weibo really need. Item completions across the board in other areas have come through, right? Scout as well does need that death cap. I can't recall where he was when we had that gold pop up, but he would ideally like to have it before the next dragon spawns up. Let's see if he takes a reset. Nope. So that's what the items are for both sides.
So he's going to take that.
Yeah. Is it enough, though? That's the question, right? He soaked up a wave. Probably soaked up the wave prior. We'll get this raptor camp now. Let's see. If he takes the reset, then we know. Yeah, he's got enough. Okay.
Just in time.
Scout's on the top side. He's gonna have teleport, so he can actually afford to shove out like an extra wave if he needs it, and then look to base after the fact. There's the death cap from weiwei. And that's it. Everyone's basically at critical mass for now for this next fight. There you go. Funnel the gold over. He's just about got enough now, Scout. So he'll take a base. He'll get his death cap. And that's who we have to look at to really take a step up, because Scout, even though he is 5-2 and 5, and some of the setups have been particularly fun to look at, Scout has not found the same level of impact in some of these skirmishes that Xiaohu was finding in the skirmishes with that azir. So would really like to take that next step up. Maybe that death cap helps him out. Xiaohu, on the other hand, as well, had a very quiet game on the Tristana. Would like to turn that one around, even though everyone else on Weibo more than pulling the weight for him. So it's not the end of the world. Just need to look for a good buster shot onto one of these frontliners diving in. Weibo.
LNG can let this go.
They can.
LNG don't have to fight this.
It's only a Chemtech Dragon at 35 minutes in, 34 minutes in. Honestly,
they're still looking. They're going to jump here onto TheShy, but TheShy's tanky. There's the Dragon confirmed. These poke from the Void Seekers are going to be huge. Xiaohu jumps over the wall and knocks back Scout. Couldn't get himself the Stream of Divide. Now Crisp and weiwei trying to jump in onto Gala, who has to immediately disengage, but they've taken down the Kaisa. There's all these low health bars, and Xiaohu's looking to reset. They're looking to get all the damage down, and it doesn't matter how the early game goes, because this series is all about the late game fights. You could have let that one go, LNG, but you didn't, and now you will lose the Baron as well. Yeah, and you feel like that could be one of the final nails in the coffin here in this game for LNG, because they have not been able to find a favorable setup for a team fight for the latter half of this game. Weibo have just been dominating them, and so much of it is coming from weiwei. And this time also Crisp did so much to prevent Gala from having any impact over the wall of that team fight, whilst the rest of LNG just gets minced. Weibo get everything. They'll finally break this tier 1 as well. Baron in pocket. Let's see what else they can get with that one. If they're waiting for light, I believe. Yeah, as we go into the replay. And let's see. We'll see if he has the Baron buff once we come out, as Dragon's killed by Weibo. And then look at Crisp, look at weiwei, because Gala not able to have impact here. Hung goes in over the wall for the re-engagement and double knockup. Onto Tarzan, onto Gala. He's pretty much just forced out, whilst TheShy is just in the middle doing Ksante things right here. Excellent stuff. And then, yeah, health bar so low. Everyone's able to pick on whoever they need to. Maybe the next one doesn't kill off Gala. Heal from the ultimate and fleet footwork. weiwei could have honestly chased him down, but just decides to plead mercy for him. Now it's a 6,000 gold or 5,000 gold lead in favor of Weibo. Got themselves Baron. They've got plenty of poke damage to come in, but I mean, this game, the series, is not being decided by early game. It's not being picked up by those, you know, early game advantages. If it was, LNG should have ran away with it by now. But it's the, oh my lord, that was just 2 abilities. Yep. Just nothing you can do about it. But again, like it's about these late game team fights. It's about how they're kind of figuring themselves out and executing properly on their win conditions. And I think the big thing for this is that LNG, having put Tarzan on a very, you know, cheap build, and yes, it looks fantastic, great to get all these, you know, support items to kind of come in, but you're just not tanky. You're not going to be able to go for these fights now that you're in the super late game. Yeah, exactly. And hey, if you are and futures market. So you know, if you're looking to play Lilia after this series, there are the runes, very typical ones. Go have fun. I'm sure you will pretty much one-shot so many people by the end of the game. LNG, I think it's last chance saloon. Scout needs to find the massive shuffle, or an engage has to come through from Hung. Look for the shuffle. Looks like it was dodged out on, and he almost gets one shot for his troubles. Voiding! Oh! I was gonna say that was a Void Seeker seeking its prey, and now without a Zhonya's, without an ultimate, what can Scout really do? Weibo, it honestly looked like they'd almost given up in the early game with a 0-4 Tristana. But it's just such a powerful pick. They were able to not only get the Kaisa first rotation, but they got the Tristana as well. Double inhibitors now cracked open as they look to try and put themselves one step away from double limb. It will put them on the 2-1, and LNG will have a lot to answer for coming into game number 4 if they cannot stop this siege. Exactly, and LNG, they wanted their redemption for spring. It's not quite over yet. They still got this game and the remainder of the series, but this one is looking grim. Yep, they're going to look for TheShy, but he's so tanky now at this stage. 4 items now they can jump in. Hung is dead, and Xiaohu is just too big on this Tristana. You have too much range, you have too much damage. He flashes in, blows Zika up, and Weibo will be bringing themselves within 1 of the double limb. We will see Gala almost getting taken out there. The Emperor's Divide is good to stop Xiaohu's assault, but he's got enough time to reset. There's going to be Gala, though. He hasn't got the right guns, I don't think. Yes, he's got a nice Inferno, but he hasn't got the restrain to really make this one work. But maybe Scout does. This game's not over yet, Jamada. They're still pushing in for it, but they finally take down the Azir. Gala needs to be able to go for it. TheShy's going to try and take him out, and he will. Tarzan will go down, and in a 1v3, I just don't think Gala can do it because he cannot. And in this game, at 38.5 minutes, Weibo 2-1.
What a turnaround from Weibo. That game looked disastrous at the offset. LNG had so many positive plays in the early game, stacked up the dragons, but it just felt like they were never able to really